Echoes of war. The year was 3531, and Earth was quiet. Not the kind of quiet that follows devastation, but the kind that grows from 1,000 years of uninterrupted peace. Skyscrapers floated above the clouds. Energy hummed gently through green cities, and diseases had long since become trivia questions. Violence, hunger, and war? Outdated vocabulary in a world that didn't need them anymore. In the Grand Terran Hall, nestled in the lush Andes arcology, Ambassador Kyra Vance sipped tea made from leaves cultivated in zero-gravity farms on Neptune's moons. The sun bathed the curved glass dome in soft gold. She looked over the delegates in the chamber, most of them discussing trade quotas, terraforming ethics, and interspecies culinary standards. It was a typical Tuesday, until the stars screamed. A loud, jarring frequency tore through every comm array across the galaxy. No encryption, no signature, just a single, booming voice in every language ever known. The Zorvani Dominion returns. The 1,000-year lie of peace is over. Kneel or perish. Earth will be first. The dome dimmed instantly. Delegates froze. An emergency seal clamped over the hall's skylights as AI monitors sprang to life, translating and authenticating the broadcast. Red lines lit up the galactic map. The transmission originated from beyond the Orion Veil, a region long considered unreachable, even mythic. Kyra leaned forward, her brow furrowed. "Zorvani," she murmured. "I thought they were wiped out during the Unity Wars." "Apparently not," said Counselor Rommel of the Oran system, a crystalline life form whose voice chimed like wind through glass. And they seemed quite nostalgic. The room buzzed with disbelief. Some delegates trembled. Others wept. A few began calling homeworlds, demanding evacuations. Kyra, however, leaned back and blinked slowly. "Well, this is awkward." Hours later, Earth's global assembly convened. The best minds of the planet, philosophers, statespeople, exohistorians, technocrats, gathered via quantum link. No one raised their voice. That wasn't humanity's way anymore. A hologram played the Zorvani message again. The towering image of Imperator Zoral Vex loomed above the table. Bone-armored, eyes blazing, his claws stained with ceremonial blood. He roared. The galaxy grew fat and weak on peace. "You have forgotten what strength looks like. We will remind you." When the projection ended, silence fell again, until Delegate Hassan from Luna burst out laughing. Kyra tried to suppress a grin as others chuckled. "Seriously?" someone muttered. "This is the big threat." "It's cute," said the Martian representative. "They think war is something we forgot." Kyra stood, clearing her throat. "Let's not underestimate them. The Zorvani were once a powerful force. Brutal, yes. Strategic, definitely. But they made one critical miscalculation." She let the sentence hang. "They think we forgot who we were." The room grew quiet. Kyra stepped closer to the center podium. "Peace is a choice. We chose it. We built a paradise because we had nothing left to prove. But history, real human history, is etched into the bones of every continent, stored in every archive. And it's not peaceful. It's forged in war, hardship, survival. The Zorvani have no idea what they just woke up." A murmur of agreement swept the room. Someone pulled up a historical video. It played old footage. Human soldiers trudging through mud, dogfighting in the skies, battleships crashing into each other in space. A quote overlaid the montage. "War is the realm of chaos and uncertainty. And in chaos, humans thrive." Sun 2.78, AI Tactical Archive. The feed ended. A vote was taken. Humanity would respond. Not with fear, not with panic, but with the same old grin they'd worn in every war since the dawn of fire. As the session adjourned, Kyra looked out across Earth. The clouds parted, revealing blue skies streaked with orbital habitats. She whispered, "We gave the galaxy peace for 1,000 years. They should have left well enough alone." In the distance, somewhere beneath the Pacific floor, dormant bunkers hummed to life. Codes unlocked. Steel groaned, and old war machines began to wake. The lion was stirring, and it was smiling. "They don't know us." The Zorvani struck fast. Their fleet, sleek, fong-shaped warships cloaked in black plasma, descended on the outer colony of Delphi 9, a peaceful science outpost on the edge of Council space. The colony didn't stand a chance. No defenses, no military presence, just botanists and terraforming engineers. Within an hour, Delphi 9 was glass. Footage leaked across the galaxy. Entire planets fell into a panic. Peace-era species, who disarmed centuries ago, now scrambled to remember the difference between diplomacy and defense. Some begged the Council for weapons. Others pleaded for mercy. But Earth didn't panic. It prepared. Kyra Vance stood aboard the orbital platform Tantalus 1, her breath caught between awe and unease. Below her, stretching across the moon's shadowed surface, stood the Vault of Mars, a fortress built deep into the regolith, housing humanity's most dangerous secrets. It had been sealed for 974 years. Now it was open. Giant steel doors groaned on magnetic hinges as cold air hissed from deep within. Lights flickered on, illuminating rows upon rows of old war machines. Tanks with AI-linked neurocannons, armored mechs bearing the faded insignia of the old Earth Union, railguns larger than buildings. In the center, a column of cryo-chambers stood like tombstones, each one containing a single soldier. Not just any soldiers. These were the Black Stars, genetically enhanced warriors frozen in time at the end of the Unity Wars. Humanity's ultimate insurance policy. An automated voice echoed through the chamber. System integrity at 98%. Initiating revival sequence for Unit Alpha 1. Steam vented. Lights pulsed red. The chamber opened. Commander Rhet Kor took his first breath in 1,000 years. His skin was pale. His eyes burned with recognition. He looked around, coughed once, and gave a crooked smile. Finally, someone woke us up. Kyra stepped forward. You were preserved in case peace failed. He flexed his fingers. Then peace must have failed spectacularly. On Earth, the AI Strategic Core, known as Sun 2.78, was rebooted. The system, stored in the Arctic Core Vault, contained centuries of human battle doctrine, simulations, psychological warfare protocols, and more. Its interface flickered to life. An old man with sharp eyes, a weathered uniform, and a calm voice. Kyra greeted it with a bow. We need your guidance. Ah, Sun 2.78 replied, smiling faintly. War returns. Very well. Let us remind them why humans are feared. Within days, drills began. Civilians volunteered en masse. Young adults who'd only ever known holographic chess and zero-G tennis queued up for combat training like it was a theme park. Veterans from the last war, now centuries old in rejuvenated bodies, emerged to teach them. And strange things happened. Humans laughed during live-fire exercises. They told war stories with pride, joked while loading plasma rounds, and played music during orbital drops. It was a culture shock to the rest of the galaxy, who watched it all in horrified fascination. One clip went viral across Council space. A 20-year-old recruit from the African Republic, dancing in exosuit armor while singing to an old Earth tune. We will rock you. The footage showed her unit entering a combat sim with bright smiles and painted helmets. The Zorvani intercepted the feed. They did not understand. Why are they smiling? One Zorvani admiral growled. His second in command, a reptilian war cleric, tilted his head. I think they enjoy it. Enjoy war. Yes, and that makes them dangerous. Back on Tantalus 1, Rhet Kor watched the new recruits run simulations. He leaned against a railing beside Kyra, watching as the young humans coordinated with frightening speed and brutal precision. Every one of them fought with a sort of joyful defiance, like war was a long-forgotten game they'd been waiting to play again. Not bad, Rhet said, sipping synthetic coffee. They're a little soft, but give him a week. 2 tops. Kyra nodded. The rest of the galaxy doesn't get it. They think peace made us weak. Rhet chuckled. Peace didn't make us weak. It made us ready. We've been storing fire in our bones for 1,000 years. Kyra looked out the viewport as Earth's first dreadnought launched from orbit. Its name, painted across the hull in bold Terran script. Retribution. She turned to Red. What do you call a species that doesn't fear war? He shrugged. You call them the winners. Humanity unleashed. The sky above Veridex Prime turned red just before dawn. It was the first major counteroffensive. The Zorvani had claimed the colony a week prior, slaughtering its small diplomatic corps and using its towers as signal beacons to mock the Galactic Council. They expected a response. They just didn't expect humans. From orbit, the Earth dreadnought Retribution loomed like a jagged moon, its hull bristling with particle cannons and kinetic pods. No warnings were issued, no ultimatums broadcast, just one quiet ping, an old Terran frequency, long unused, that read simply, initiating resolution protocol, Black Star priority. At exactly 5 o'clock standard time, the drop began. Pods screamed through the atmosphere, trailing fire. From them emerged the Black Stars, elite human warriors, armored in obsidian exosuits with adaptive camouflage and neural-linked weapons. They hit the ground running. Inside his HUD, Commander Rhett Core tracked every unit, every movement. The air was thick with ash and ion discharge. Buildings smoldered, and Zorvani patrols scrambled to respond, but they were already too late. By 5:17, the command tower was taken. By 5:34, enemy communications were jammed. By 5:48, the Zorvani fled. Humans took Veridex back in 48 minutes. Footage of the assault spread fast. Zorvani officials, once so smug and theatrical in their threats, now watched in silence as recordings showed Black Stars clearing compounds with surgical efficiency, some units laughing over open comms, others humming old war songs. One clip, played over 1 billion times across galactic networks, showed Rhett Core leaping from a rooftop onto a Zorvani tank, tearing through the hatch, and planting a thermal charge before turning to the nearby helmet cam. He smiled. Still fun after 1,000 years. Then the tank exploded behind him. Even alien species that had known humans for centuries were shaken. On Earth, training accelerated. Civilians began forming their own militias. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Tactical gaming merged seamlessly with real-world drills. Combat AIs like Sun Tzu.78 ran thousands of simulations daily, optimizing new strategies humans had devised out of sheer creativity. Humans didn't fight like anyone else. They were unpredictable, adaptive. They would mock you mid-battle. They'd hack your communication line just to broadcast a meme. They'd paint smiley faces on missile pods and name strike teams things like the Angry Grandmas or Puppy Brigade. To most species, war was trauma. To humans, it was memory. In the Zorvani War Council aboard the command ship Vengeance, unending, Admiral Skirthal slammed his claws on the strategy table. They are chaos incarnate, he bellowed. They enjoy this. Look at them, laughing while charging into our artillery fire. His ministers remained silent, ashamed. Fear crept into the room like smoke. They don't use fear as a weapon, muttered one of them. They are fear. Skirthal hissed. We thought they had become weak. You were wrong, a voice said behind them. They turned and saw a transmission blinking to life. It was a human broadcast hacked into their secure line. Ambassador Kyra Vance appeared on the screen. Calm, polished, eyes like knives. We didn't become weak, she said. We became better, smarter, kinder. We gave the galaxy peace because we'd already survived our worst selves. She leaned in. But that worst self still lives. You woke it up. The message cut to static. Back on Veridex, Rhett surveyed the aftermath. Black Stars cleared the last remnants of resistance, helping council medics tend to wounded colonists. He passed by a young recruit from Mars, covered in soot, singing to herself as she reloaded. Everything good, soldier? He asked. She grinned. They said we'd never see real war. Guess the universe changed its mind. Rhett nodded slowly. Or maybe it just remembered who we are. Above them, Earth's fleet, now 10 dreadnoughts strong, repositioned for the next push. The Zorvani were reeling. Their core, territories, once thought untouchable, now braced for human assault. The balance of the war had shifted, and the galaxy finally understood. Humanity didn't fear war. It had just been waiting. The joke's on them. Zorvani High Command held its final meeting in the ruins of Azarkos Citadel, deep within the molten storms of their homeworld. The once proud capital now buzzed with panic comms, false evacuation reports, and scattered orders. They'd underestimated Earth, not just its strength, but its mindset. The Dominion had relied on terror for 1,000 years. They had destroyed colonies, crushed uprisings, enslaved systems. Fear was their currency, but humans didn't buy with fear. They bought with defiance. In orbit, Earth's fleet darkened skies. No grand speeches, no ultimatums, just one message, relayed by every human ship in synchronized unison. You wanted war? Now choke on it. The Black Stars led the first strike, carving through orbital defenses like a hot knife through old pride. Commander Rhet Kor, armed with a next-gen rail spear, moved through the Zorvani's elite guard with eerie calm. Behind him, thousands of Terran shock troops poured into the capital, laughing and shouting like they were at a football match. The Zorvani fired back. They had weapons, millions of them. But weapons didn't matter when their enemy didn't hesitate, didn't panic, didn't break. Rhet's voice echoed through the comms. Stay loose, stay loud. Remember, nobody fights harder than someone who enjoys it. His squad, call sign Echo Dagger, broke into a central war lab and immediately broadcast the moment across the galaxy. Live footage showed Rhet holding up the Zorvani's war plans, primitive, rigid, and hopelessly outdated. He looked into the camera. This is what they were working with. Linear tactics, predictable deployments, no improvisation, no humor. He tossed the datapad aside. This wasn't war. This was a tantrum. Elsewhere, Ambassador Kara Vance stood before the Galactic Council, now reconvened in emergency session aboard Unity Spire Station. Every species had eyes on Earth, and most were afraid, not of humanity's wrath, but of its comfort with destruction. Kyra stood calmly. Let me explain something about humans, she began. The chamber quieted. For 1,000 years, we chose peace. Not because we were incapable of violence, but because we understood it. We know the price. We've paid it more times than any race should. She paused. But when someone tries to force war on us, she smiled. A quiet, terrifying smile. We don't rage. We don't cry. We laugh. Because we know exactly what happens next. The chamber fell into stunned silence. Then, slowly, several species, once neutral, stood. First the Orin, then the Brelthari, then even the cautious Denari hive. We stand with Earth, said Counselor Rommel. Not because we seek war, but because we finally understand. Peace requires those willing to protect it. Back on the Zorvani homeworld, smoke choked the skyline. The final resistance collapsed under coordinated strikes and psychological ops. Humans dropped leaflets written in Zorvani script with slogans like, War? Cute. Try again in another 1,000 years. Oops. We brought history. Zorvani civilians surrendered in droves. Their military leaders, once feared across the stars, now hid in bunkers. But Earth didn't exterminate. It didn't conquer. It offered terms. Unconditional surrender, demilitarization, reparations through reconstruction. Humanity, in its cruel kindness, offered the one thing Zorvani had tried to destroy. Peace. At the heart of the ruined citadel, Rhet Kor stood atop the last Zorvani tower. His armor hissed and steamed. Around him, black stars lowered weapons. A young human soldier climbed up beside him, holding a strange metal object, half-melted, clearly Zorvani made. What's that? Rhet asked. A joke, she said. Their battle chief carved it. Said it was a victory horn. Rhet laughed, full and loud. Let's hang it in the War Museum. Title, it whoops. They both sat, watching the twin suns rise. For a moment, the planet looked peaceful again. Kyra's voice crackled over the comms. We've confirmed full surrender. Council ratified Earth as guardian species. You ready for the next part? What's that? Rhet asked. She smiled from orbit. Keeping the peace. Again, Rhet looked at the horizon. Funny, he muttered. I was just starting to enjoy the quiet. Across the galaxy, the message was clear. Humans hadn't forgotten how to fight. They just refused to, until someone made the mistake of asking. Now, with Earth ascendant and the Zorvani broken, the stars turned quiet once more. And this time, nobody dared break the silence. Because when humans laugh in war, that's when you run.